It's on and popping. Nikki Haley is running for president of the United States, former ambassador under Donald Trump. Also, Tim Sellout Scott may be running for president as well. I got some video of the former governor, Ms. Haley, and her fascination with the Confederate flag. Let me start with the video. Here it is.
The railroad tracks divided the town by race. I was the proud daughter of Indian immigrants. Not black, not white. I was different. But my mom would always say your job is not to focus on the differences, but the similarities. And my parents reminded me and my siblings every day how blessed we were to live in America. Some look at our past as evidence that America's founding principles are bad. They say the promise of freedom is just made up. Some think our ideas are not just wrong, but racist and evil. Nothing could be further from the truth. I have seen evil. In China, they commit genocide. In Iran, they murder their own people for challenging the government.
Yeah, they murder people here in America for challenging the government too. The police are governmental entities. When a cop kills an unarmed person, that is the government killing a human being. It is ironic that Ms. Haley has decided to go the race route while denying racism in America exists. Remember, she talked about the founding principles, that somehow people believe that the founding principles of this country are evil. Well, they are. This country was founded on the idea that you can own people. This country was founded upon the idea that only white men who owned property could participate in democracy. This country was founded on the idea that the hierarchy of humanity can be determined and categorized by man and not by God. You know, when it talks about all men are created equal, they were talking about white men who own property. She also said she's an Indian immigrant. Indian immigrant, not black, not white, but different. Isn't that ironic? Madam, do you understand what this means? Do you understand you are denying a reality that existed against your own ancestors? A reality that you have decided to turn your back to in order to affix yourself to a narrative of power. You think this is your route. Well, good for you. Now, she's probably going to tell people, hey, I'm the person that was against racism and against the Confederate flag. I'm the governor who stood strong. Really? You interviewed with Sons of the Confederate, KKK light. Sons of the Confederate posed this question. Here it is.
We'd like to know what your position is on the Confederate flag.
You know, I feel like it's been resolved to the best of its ability. I mean, I wasn't here when they actually went through and did the negotiations. I understand that it was brutal, but I think that they came up with the best solution we're going to hope for. You know, what people need to, what I tend to look at is the practical side of the matter is, you know, you had it takes 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate to change that. That's not going to happen. I think right now, the Confederate flag, where it is where the legislature is comfortable with it. I think that, you know, there was a compromise among the state on where it should be. And so it's not something I see as a priority right now. I think right now we need to be focusing on jobs and our economy and our education. You know, for those groups that come in and say they have issues with the Confederate flag, I will work to talk to them about it. I will work and talk to them about the heritage and how this is not something that is racist. This is something that is a tradition that people feel proud of.
Okay. She says the Confederate flag is not racist. It is a tradition, a heritage, something they should feel proud of. And if anybody has an issue with it, I will endeavor to have a conversation with them about the heritage of the Confederate flag, is what she has proffered. Now, keep in mind, the Confederate flag represents treason. treason against the United States government. Those who were involved were antithetical to the progression of this country. They committed acts of domestic terrorism. They have now been deemed to be on the wrong side of history, morally, ethically, politically. But somehow they continue to have influence and power over politicians. Well, why are these things important? It goes down to mindset. Mindset, your personal ideology always permeates into your public political policy. When posed the question about the Confederate flag, remember, she says it's not about race, it's really just about history. Here's the second part of that interview.
You just support a Confederate History Month in this state.
I mean, yes, it's part of a traditional, it's part of tradition. And so when you look at that, if you have the same as you have Black History Month and you have Confederate History Month and all of those, as long as it's done where it is in a positive way and not in a negative way, and it doesn't go to harm anyone.
Whoa, wait a minute. I mean, the Klan is part of American tradition too. Can the Klan make a similar argument? Why not make a Klans month, KKK month? It's part of tradition. Do you not find it ironic that she says Confederate month, nothing to do with race, just heritage, kind of like Black History Month? Madam, do you not realize when you just compared it to Black History Month, you have now said that Confederate History Month is in fact White History Month? You're not thinking. There's more. All right, the good former governor, former ambassador is going to run for president. The Washington establishment has failed, she says, has failed us over and over again. Remember, she was part of that Washington establishment. It's time for a new generation of leadership to rediscover fiscal responsibility, secure our border, and strengthen our country. She's going back to Newt Gingrich talking points. Haley, who was expected to deliver remarks Wednesday in Charleston at the campaign launch event, said in the video, Haley served as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations under Donald Trump, the former president, who announced his bid last year, recently appeared to bless her entrance into the race, telling reporters that she had called to tell him she was considering a campaign launch and that he said, you should do it. Now, naturally, he's throwing shade on that. Let's go to Senator Tim Scott. Okay, they have really hyped his head up. So Senator Tim Scott, he's now contemplating running. He's going to run. All right, make no mistake about it. Tim Scott is getting into the race. Scott, the only Black Republican in the US Senate, plans to test a message focused on unity and optimism in order to win the Republican primary. Sir, have you looked at the colleagues you work with lately? You do realize you're the only Black Republican in the entire damn country in the US Senate. And you want to have a message of unity? Sir. Lastly, a judge in Georgia says, yes, some of the special purpose grand jury information will come out. A Georgia judge on Monday ordered the release of parts of the special grand jury's report on efforts by former President Donald Trump and his allies to overturn the 2020 presidential election, but said that most of the report will remain under wraps for now. So let me just explain what will come out. So this Thursday, you will get the introduction, you will get some conclusions, and you may even get some commentary that says, hey, these cats were lying to us when they testified under oath. You are likely not to get a lot of information about who should be indicted. In the state of Georgia, the Constitution provides that a special use or special purpose grand jury has significant power. It has subpoena power, it has a 12-month investigative stint, and it has the ability to basically investigate whatever they choose to. They do not have to stay within what's called a target line. But with that amazing power, they have an amazing drawback. They are unable by law to actually indict. They can only make recommendations to the new grand jury, which must be convened. That new grand jury will then consider the evidence of the special purpose grand jury, but that new grand jury will have the authority to indict. All right, a lot of stuff here. Sharon, what are your thoughts?
Well, let's start with both would-be candidates. I guess Senator Scott's not quite there, Dr. Ritchie. Neither one of them knows where they come from, what they stand for, who they are even. And Senator Scott's campaign message heading into this presidential contest, I don't know that he'll even make it to the first debate. It sounds more like it's coming from a bubblegum machine.
Yes.
Nikki Haley is irrelevant, which is why she is running. And I believe probably just wants to write a book, get increased speaking fees, and then perhaps she'll go on her way. But every time you flash her picture, I get this bland taste in my mouth. I can't, only, one of those power drinks is the only thing that like washes it away. It's very bland. And I think that she should just sit down.
Yeah, and she may have some other pivot in the Republican Party, even if she's not successful. And I think that may be why Trump and a few others will try to play nice. I don't think a Republican is going to pick a male if a male becomes the nominee. I don't think that will happen. We shall see if my prediction is right.